Canto 19, Circle 8, Bulgia 3, The Simoniacs. O Simon Magus, you wretched crew who follow him, pandering for silver and gold, the things of God which should be wedded to love and righteousness. O thieves for hire, now must the trump of judgment sound your doom here in the third fosse of the rim of fire. We had already made our way across to the next grave and to that part of the bridge which hangs above the midpoint of the fosse. O sovereign wisdom, how thine art doth shine on heaven, on earth, and in the evil world, how justly doth thy power judge and assign. I saw along the walls and on the ground long rows of holes cut in the livid stone. All were cut to a size, and all were round. They seemed to be exactly the same size as those in the font of my beautiful San Giovanni, built to protect the priests who come to baptize, one of which, not so long since, I broke open to rescue a boy who was wedged and drowning in it. Be this enough to undeceive all men. From every mouth a sinner's legs stuck out as far as the calf. The soles were all ablaze, and the joints of the legs quivered and writhed about. Withes and tethers would have snapped in their throes, as oiled things blaze upon the surface only. So did they burn from the heels to the points of their toes. Master, I said, who is that one in the fire who writhes and quivers more than all the others? From him the ruddy flames seem to leap higher. And he, to me, if you wish me to carry you down along that lower bank, you may learn from him who he is and the evil he has done. And I, what you will, I will. You are my Lord, and know I depart in nothing from your wish. And you know my mind beyond my spoken word. We moved to the fourth ridge, and turning left, my guide descended by a jagged path into the straight and perforated cleft. Thus the good master bore me down the dim and rocky slope, and did not put me down till we reached the one whose legs did penance for him. Whoever you are, sad spirit, I began, who lie here with your head below your heels and planted like a stake, speak if you can. I stood like a friar who gives the sacrament to a hired assassin, who, fixed in the hole, recalls him and delays his death a moment. Are you there already, Boniface? Are you there already? He cried. By several years the writ has lied, and all that gold and all that care. Are you already sated with the treasure for which you dared to turn on the sweet lady and trick and pluck and bleed her at your pleasure? I stood like one caught in some raillery, not understanding what is said to him, for lost for an answer to such mockery. Then Virgil said, say to him, I am not he, I am not who you think. And I replied as my good master had instructed me. The sinner's feet jerked madly. Then again his voice arose, this time choked with sighs and tears, and said at last, what do you want of me then? If to know who I am drives you so fearfully that you ascend the bank to ask it, know that the great mantle was once hung upon me. And in truth, I was a son of the she-bear, so sly and eager to push my whelps ahead that I pursed wealth above and myself here. Beneath my head are dragged all who have gone before me in buying and selling holy office. There they cower in fissures of stone. I too shall be plunged down when that great cheat for whom I took you comes here in his turn. Longer already have I baked my feet and been planted upside down than he shall be before the West sends down a lawless shepherd of uglier deeds to cover him and me. He will be a new Jason of the Maccabees, and just as that king bent to his high priest's will, so shall the French king do as this one please. Maybe I cannot say I grew too brash at this point, for when he had finished speaking, I said, "Indeed! Now tell me how much cash our Lord required of Peter in guarantee before he put the keys into his keeping. Surely he asked nothing but, 'Follow me,' nor did Peter, nor did the others ask silver or gold of Matthias when they chose him for the place the despicable and damned apostle's soul. Therefore, stay as you are. This whole well fits you, and keep a good guard on the ill-worn wealth that once made you so bold towards Charles of Anjou. And were it not that I am still constrained by the reverence I owe to the great keys you held in life, I should not have refrained from using other words and sharper still. For this avarice of yours grieves all the world, tramples the virtuous, and exalts the evil. Of such as you was the evangelist's vision when he saw she who sits upon the waters locked with the kings of earth and fornication. She was born with 7 heads and 10 enormous and shining horns, strengthened and made her glad as long as love and virtue pleased her spouse. Gold and silver are the gods you adore. In what you are different from the idolater, save that he worship one and you worship a score? Ah, Constantine, what evil marked the hour, not of your conversion, but of the fee the first rich father took from you in dower. And as I sang him this tune, he began to twitch and quit both feet out wildly, as if in rage or gnawed by conscience, little matter which. And I think, indeed, it pleased my guide. His look was all approval as he stood beside me, intent upon each word of truth I spoke. He approached, and with both arms he lifted me. And when he had gathered me against his breast, remounted the rocky path out of the valley, nor did he tire of holding me clasped to him until we reached the topmost point of the arch which crosses from the 4th to the 5th rim of the pits of woe. Arrived upon the bridge, he tenderly set down the heavy burden he had been pleased to carry up that ledge, which would have been hard climbing for a goat. Here he looked down on still another moat.